Did you notice something strange at the American Music Awards 2026? Some stars arrived looking like legendary Hollywood fashion icons, completely dominating the red carpet with elegance and unforgettable style. But at the same time, a few celebrities shocked audiences across America with fashion choices that quickly became some of the most talked-about disasters of the night. Even more surprising, several of the most highly anticipated stars ended up disappointing fans with their looks. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 best and worst dressed at the AMA 2026, from breathtaking fashion moments to outfits that left fans speechless for all the wrong reasons. Stay until the end, because the number one spot will absolutely surprise you. And don't forget to leave a comment telling us your thoughts and which celebrity you think was the most iconic and stylish star of the night. Starting off our best-dressed list in truly spectacular fashion, we have the stunning and endlessly stylish Teyana Taylor. At the American Music Awards 2026, she completely commanded the red carpet in a breathtaking purple Balenciaga gown from the pre-fall 2026 collection, styled flawlessly by the talented duo Wayman and Micah. From the moment she arrived, it was impossible to look away. The rich purple tone looked absolutely magnificent against her skin, creating a bold yet regal presence that felt both glamorous and sophisticated. I especially loved the construction of this gown. The strapless neckline featured elegant curved detailing, while the dramatic ruching and perfectly structured corset gave the entire look shape and balance. The flowing fabric draped beautifully into a daring slit, paired with a stunning matching train that added movement and drama with every step she took. What makes this outfit so memorable is how it manages to feel sexy, powerful, and refined all at the same time. Teyana completed the look with crocodile-textured heels and delicate silver jewelry that added just the right amount of sparkle without overwhelming the gown itself. Everything about this appearance felt polished, confident, and effortlessly high fashion. She absolutely owned the red carpet, and for me, this look is undeniably hot. Next on the best-dressed list is the legendary and timeless icon Queen Latifah, who brought pure confidence and undeniable star power to the American Music Awards 2026. She stepped onto the red carpet wearing a soft, nude gray chiffon gown layered beneath a dramatic white faux fur trench coat by Christian Siriano, once again styled beautifully by the talented fashion duo Wayman and Micah. From the very first moment, she looked completely in control of the spotlight. What immediately stood out to me was the luxurious texture and volume of the coat. It added a sense of glamour and theatrical elegance without feeling overdone. The belted waist was also a smart styling choice because it created structure and shape, allowing the entire outfit to feel polished and balanced. Underneath, the flowing nude-toned gown blended seamlessly with the outer layer, creating a soft, monochromatic effect that looked incredibly sophisticated on camera. I also loved the finishing touches. Her sleek high ponytail gave the look a modern edge, while the long statement earrings added just enough sparkle and movement. There was something effortlessly commanding about this appearance. Queen Latifah didn't need an overly flashy outfit to stand out because her confidence and presence carried the entire look beautifully. This was elegant, powerful, and incredibly well-styled from head to toe. For me, this is absolutely hot. Next on the best-dressed list is the radiant and effortlessly glamorous Chrissy Teigen, who truly brought warmth and sophistication to the American Music Awards 2026 red carpet. She wore a stunning strapless orange crochet gown by Raisa Vanessa, beautifully styled by Alana Dira, and the entire look felt both fresh and incredibly refined. From the moment she stepped in front of the cameras, that vibrant shade of orange immediately captured attention in the best possible way. The color looked absolutely gorgeous against her complexion, giving her a glowing and confident presence that felt perfect for a major awards show. What impressed me most, however, was the craftsmanship of the gown itself. Crochet designs can be very difficult to execute at a high fashion level, but this dress managed to feel elegant, artistic and modern all at once. The silhouette hugged her beautifully without looking too heavy, and the delicate orange beading woven throughout the gown elevated the visual texture in such a sophisticated way. I also appreciated how well every styling element worked together. Her hair was soft and polished, the makeup added a radiant finish without overpowering the outfit, and the overall presentation felt cohesive from head to toe. Nothing looked forced or overly complicated. Chrissy Teigen delivered a red carpet moment that was stylish, feminine, and memorable while still feeling effortless. For me, this look is definitely hot. Last but certainly not least on the best-dressed list is Jana Craig, who delivered one of the most eye-catching looks of the night at the American Music Awards 2026. She stepped onto the red carpet wearing a striking multicolored striped gown by Rat and Boa, and the entire look instantly demanded attention. From every angle, she looked confident, glamorous, and effortlessly captivating. Now, I'll admit, I'm usually very critical when it comes to bold patterns on the red carpet because they can easily become overwhelming or look too busy under bright camera flashes. But this gown was executed beautifully. The combination of blue, orange, yellow, and black created a stunning contrast that felt vibrant without losing its elegance. There was something artistic and modern about the way the colors flowed together, making the dress impossible to ignore in the best way possible. The silhouette also worked perfectly for her figure. The gown hugged her shape beautifully while still maintaining movement and softness, giving the entire look a polished and luxurious finish. I also appreciated how well the accessories complemented the outfit. From the heels to the earrings, every detail felt carefully chosen without competing against the dress itself. What I loved most was the balance of the overall styling. The look felt bold and slightly wild, yet still refined and sophisticated enough for a major awards show. Jana Craig absolutely turned heads on this red carpet, and for me, this look is definitely hot. Starting off the worst-dressed list, we have the talented diva Tinashe, who unfortunately delivered one of the more disappointing fashion moments at the American Music Awards 2026. She arrived wearing an off-the-shoulder white sheer lace gown by Blue Marine, clearly aiming for a bold and sensual red carpet statement. And while I understand that many stars want to push boundaries and embrace a more daring aesthetic at events like the AMAs, there's still a way to do that while maintaining elegance and sophistication. Sadly, this look just didn't achieve that balance for me. The biggest issue was the visible undergarments beneath the sheer fabric. Instead of looking chic or fashion-forward, it distracted from the beauty of the gown and made the entire outfit feel less polished. I also felt like the dress overwhelmed Tinashe's petite frame. There was simply too much fabric happening at once, which caused the silhouette to lose shape and structure under the camera lights. Another element that didn't work for me was the oversized statement necklace. Rather than enhancing the look, it made the neckline feel heavy and crowded, taking attention away from her natural beauty. The styling overall lacked cohesion, and the final result felt more chaotic than glamorous. Tinashe is absolutely stunning and usually takes exciting fashion risks, but this particular look missed the mark. To me, the outfit unfortunately resembled an overly decorative tablecloth rather than a refined red carpet moment. This one is definitely a chop. Next on the worst-dressed list is Latina superstar Karol G, who arrived at the American Music Awards 2026, wearing a black mesh crop top paired with a dramatic black taffeta maxi skirt by Natalia Fedner. Now, to be completely fair, I don't think this look was a total disaster. In fact, there are a few elements that I genuinely liked. The mesh top had a bold, sultry energy that suited Karol G's confident personality very well. It felt edgy, glamorous, and perfectly in line with the fearless image she often brings to the red carpet. However, the outfit started to lose me once I looked closer at the construction and styling details. The frayed and shredded hemline on the top gave the impression that the garment was unfinished, almost as if it still needed tailoring before the event. Instead of adding intentional edge, it created a messy effect that distracted from the stronger parts of the look. The biggest problem for me, though, was the oversized taffeta skirt. The silhouette felt awkward and lacked elegance under the bright lights of the red carpet. Rather than flowing beautifully, the skirt appeared bulky and stiff, almost resembling a parachute more than a couture-inspired design. It overwhelmed her frame and disrupted the balance of the outfit. Now, I will say this. Karol G herself still carried the look with confidence because her presence and attitude are undeniable. But when judging the outfit on its own, I'm simply not convinced. Unfortunately, this one is a chop for me. Next on the worst dressed list is music legend Paula Abdul, who appeared at the American Music Awards 2026, wearing a structured white sheer gown by Michael Costello. Unfortunately, this look ended up being one of the biggest disappointments of the night for me. Paula Abdul is an icon with decades of stage presence and glamour behind her, so I was expecting something timeless and elegant. Instead, the outfit felt overly complicated and visually chaotic from almost every angle. The gown seemed packed with too many competing design elements at once. Between the exaggerated curved detailing, the sheer panels, and the dramatic accessories, the look crossed the line from high fashion into something that resembled a costume rather than a sophisticated red carpet gown. There was no clear focal point for the eye to follow, which made the entire outfit feel disjointed and overwhelming on camera. One of the biggest issues was the nude lining underneath the dress. The shade didn't properly match Paula's skin tone, which created a distracting contrast under the bright lights, and took away from the illusion the gown was clearly trying to achieve. I also wish the fabric had been slightly more opaque, because the transparency only added to the cluttered appearance instead of enhancing the design. And then there were the gloves, which unfortunately pushed the styling even further into theatrical territory. Combined with the unusual swirling details throughout the gown, the overall presentation felt more like a fashion accident than a memorable red carpet moment. Sadly, this one is definitely a chop for me. Last on the worst dressed list is Melanie Martinez, who arrived at the American Music Awards 2026, wearing a brown and moss green corset gown that quickly became one of the most confusing fashion moments of the night. I understand that Melanie has always embraced a highly theatrical and unconventional style, and I can appreciate artists who take creative risks on the red carpet. But in this case, the execution simply felt chaotic rather than artistic. From the very beginning, there were just too many competing elements happening at once. The corset itself already had a heavy visual presence, but then it was combined with mismatched sleeves made from entirely different materials, which immediately disrupted any sense of cohesion. On top of that, the random bow detail placed at the center of the dress felt unnecessary and distracting, almost as if it had been added at the last minute without any real purpose. The skirt was where the look completely lost me. Instead of appearing intentionally distressed or avant-garde, the fabric looked dirty, torn apart, and unfinished in a way that felt more messy than fashionable. I understand the concept of deconstructed fashion, where garments are intentionally fragmented or asymmetrical to create artistic tension. However, this didn't feel like a thoughtful, deconstructed design. It felt more like several unrelated ideas thrown together all at once to see what might work. Melanie Martinez is known for bold creativity, but this particular outfit lacked balance, refinement, and clear direction. Unfortunately, the final result looked less like couture and more like a pile of fabric competing for attention. For me, this is absolutely a chop. Tonight's American Music Awards 2026 reminded us that fashion is about much more than wearing expensive labels or chasing attention. The stars who truly stood out were the ones who understood balance, confidence, and authenticity. Celebrities like Teyana Taylor, Queen Latifah, Chrissy Teigen, and Jonna Craig proved that style becomes unforgettable when elegance and personality work together. On the other hand, some looks showed that taking risks without clear direction can easily turn creativity into confusion. Red carpet fashion should inspire, not simply shock people for a few headlines online. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson from tonight. True style isn't about wearing the loudest outfit in the room, but about knowing what genuinely represents you. Confidence, taste, and self-awareness will always outshine trends that exist only for attention. Now we want to hear from you. Which celebrity do you think had the best look of the night? And which outfit completely missed the mark? Let us know in the comments below. They were the perfect icons of classic Hollywood. But behind the bright lights and glamorous smiles, many famous stars were forced to hide who they truly were for their entire lives. What made these legends live in secrecy, even while being adored by millions across America? And how many shocking truths did Hollywood bury for decades? In today's video, we're uncovering 10 Golden Age Hollywood stars who were believed to have lived secret gay lives along with the hidden romances and harsh pressures they faced behind the scenes. Tell me in the comments how famous your favorite star was in your eyes. And don't forget to share which name surprised you the most. Rock Hudson embodied the image of post-war American masculinity. Tall, calm, handsome, and effortlessly charming. Throughout the 1950s and early 1960s, he became the definition of the ideal leading man. Audiences trusted him, studios depended on him, and alongside stars like Doris Day and Elizabeth Taylor, Hudson projected warmth, confidence, and stability during an era when America longed for reassurance. At the height of his fame, he was more than a movie star. He was a symbol of certainty and romance, but that image came with enormous pressure. Hollywood executives understood that even a whisper about a leading man's private life could destroy a carefully built career. In 1955, Hudson married Phyllis Gates in a highly publicized ceremony in Santa Barbara. Over the years, many insiders described the marriage as a studio-supported effort designed to quiet rumors surrounding his sexuality. The marriage ended after only 3 years. Behind closed doors, Hudson continued relationships with men while navigating an industry that demanded silence in exchange for protection and success. For decades, the public image held firm. Then, in 1985, after seeking treatment in Paris, news broke that Hudson had AIDS. When the diagnosis became public, Hollywood was forced to confront a crisis it had long avoided discussing. Hudson passed away later that year at his home in Beverly Hills. In death, he became more than a screen legend. He became one of the first major Hollywood stars whose story brought national attention to the AIDS epidemic, and forever changed how the public viewed both celebrity and secrecy in Hollywood. During the silent film era, few stars created the kind of fascination that Rudolph Valentino inspired. He moved with elegance, dressed with unmistakable style, and carried a magnetic screen presence that left audiences mesmerized. Women adored him, newspapers followed his every move, and movie studios promoted him as Hollywood's ultimate Latin lover. Yet from the very beginning, whispers surrounded his private life. Valentino's first marriage to actress Jean Acker in 1919 collapsed almost immediately, fueling speculation about what had happened behind closed doors. His second marriage, to costume designer and art director Natasha Rambova, drew even greater scrutiny. Their relationship became tangled in legal disputes and public controversy, including accusations connected to bigamy laws after a complicated divorce situation. At the same time, critics frequently questioned Valentino's masculinity. One notorious newspaper editorial mocked his fashion choices and refined appearance, calling him overly feminine by the standards of the day. Furious, Valentino publicly challenged the writer to a fight in defense of his honor. The incident only intensified public fascination with him. Privately, his close friendships with certain men became a quiet topic of discussion within Hollywood circles. In an era that demanded rigid definitions of manhood, Valentino's sensitivity, sophistication, and emotional openness unsettled critics while deeply captivating fans. When Valentino suddenly died in 1926 at just 31 years old, from complications related to a perforated ulcer, the reaction was overwhelming. Thousands of grieving fans flooded the streets of New York to mourn him. Even in death, Valentino remained one of Hollywood's most mysterious and unforgettable legends. Montgomery Clift arrived in Hollywood with a presence unlike anyone audiences had seen before. He was sensitive, introspective, and completely unafraid to show vulnerability on screen. In films like A Place in the Sun and From Here to Eternity, Clift helped redefine the American leading man. Strength no longer had to mean emotional distance, and tenderness was no longer a weakness. To many moviegoers, he represented something modern, a quiet revolution unfolding in front of the camera. But behind that intensity was a deeply private struggle rarely discussed in public. Clift formed close emotional relationships with both men and women, yet the Hollywood studio system demanded clear labels and carefully controlled images. In the 1950s, even rumors about an actor's personal life could threaten an entire career. Friends described Clift as deeply conflicted, fully aware that honesty about himself might cost him everything he had worked to achieve. Then came the devastating car accident in May 1956. After leaving a dinner party hosted by Elizabeth Taylor, Clift crashed his car into a telephone pole. Taylor herself rushed to the wreckage and helped save his life. Although he survived, the injuries permanently altered his face and intensified the emotional pain he had long carried privately. In the years that followed, Clift struggled with chronic pain, addiction, and increasing isolation, though he continued acting with remarkable dedication. He died in New York in 1966 at the age of 45. For many admirers, Montgomery Clift remains one of Hollywood's most gifted and tragically fragile stars. Long before extravagant stage productions became the standard in Las Vegas, Liberace transformed live entertainment into a dazzling spectacle of glamour and excess. With jewel-covered capes, sparkling candelabras, and mirrored pianos, he created a style that audiences could instantly recognize. By the 1950s, his television appearances brought that larger-than-life personality directly into American living rooms. He smiled warmly, spoke often about family values, and presented himself as a devoted son still searching for the right woman. To millions of fans, Liberace felt comforting, familiar, and completely unique. Yet even at the height of his fame, rumors constantly followed him. Newspaper columnists and critics quietly questioned his sexuality, though such topics were rarely discussed openly in that era. In the 1950s, Liberace successfully sued several publications for libel after they implied he was gay. Publicly, he defended his carefully crafted image with determination. Privately, however, Liberace maintained relationships with men for many years. The most widely known was with Scott Thorson, a much younger companion who later filed a highly publicized palimony lawsuit against him in 1982. The case exposed parts of Liberace's personal life that he had spent decades trying to keep hidden from the public eye. As his health declined during the 1980s, speculation intensified. Liberace died in 1987 at the age of 67. After his death, the Riverside County coroner confirmed that he had died from complications related to AIDS. In many ways, his story reflected the enormous pressure faced by entertainers of his generation. Men expected to maintain perfect public images while hiding deeply personal truths. For decades, Tony Randall represented sophistication, intelligence, and polished humor. On television, especially in The Odd Couple, he became famous for playing neat, refined, slightly obsessive characters with impeccable comic timing. Off-screen, Randall carried much of that same elegant persona into interviews and public appearances. He spoke carefully, dressed impeccably, and projected the image of a thoughtful, cultured gentleman. In 1938, Randall married Florence Gibbs, and their marriage lasted more than 50 years until her death in 1992. Their long partnership reinforced his reputation as a loyal and traditional family man during an era when Hollywood carefully protected the public images of its stars. Yet despite that stability, quiet rumors continued to follow him throughout much of his career. Some observers pointed to Randall's highly private personal life and his close friendships within the theater world as reasons for ongoing speculation about his sexuality. Like many actors of his generation, Randall rarely discussed intimate details of his private life in public. Instead, he focused almost entirely on his work, earning admiration for his professionalism, intelligence, and lifelong dedication to the arts. Then, in 1995, Randall surprised many people by marrying Heather Harlan, who was 50 years younger than he was. The marriage drew widespread media attention, and the couple later had 2 children together. Rather than ending speculation, the unexpected relationship reignited public curiosity about his personal life. When Tony Randall passed away in 2004 at the age of 84, most tributes focused not on rumors, but on his remarkable longevity, wit, and enduring contribution to American television and theater. To millions of Americans, Merv Griffin was the picture of confidence and charm, a smooth television host with an easy smile and a reassuring presence. But beyond his success in front of the camera, Griffin became one of the most powerful figures in television history. He created legendary game shows like Jeopardy! And Wheel of Fortune, programs that would remain staples of American entertainment for generations. His public image was polished, dependable, and carefully controlled. Griffin married Julan Wright in 1958, and the couple had 1 son before divorcing in 1976. After the divorce, Griffin never remarried and became increasingly private about his personal life. In an industry where image mattered enormously, that privacy fueled years of speculation about his sexuality. Throughout his career, rumors quietly circulated within Hollywood and television circles. Griffin, however, consistently refused to either confirm or deny the gossip. Instead, he focused his attention on business, production deals, and expanding his entertainment empire. Colleagues often described him as intensely driven, sharp-minded, and deeply protective of his private world. His longtime friendship with actress Eva Gabor also attracted attention over the years. Some viewed their companionship as genuine affection between close friends, while others believed it helped shield Griffin from public scrutiny during a far less accepting era in entertainment. When Merv Griffin died in 2007 at the age of 82, most tributes emphasized his extraordinary business success and lasting influence on American television. More than anything else, he was remembered as the man who helped shape the modern game show industry and left behind programs that continue to entertain millions decades later. On stage and on screen, Jack Cassidy projected charisma with effortless precision. Broadway audiences admired his commanding presence, polished voice, and sharp sense of timing. Handsome, confident, and impeccably dressed, Cassidy seemed perfectly suited for the spotlight. To the public, he also appeared to embody the image of a successful American family man. He was married to actress Shirley Jones, and together they became one of entertainment's most recognizable couples. As the father of future teen idol David Cassidy, his personal life often looked as glamorous as his career. Yet beneath that polished image, there were signs of a far more complicated private world. Friends and colleagues quietly noted that Cassidy's personal relationships did not always match the wholesome public persona promoted by studios and television appearances. Rumors about his sexuality circulated discreetly within theater circles for years, fueled by stories of unusually close friendships and private encounters. In an era when even suspicion could damage a career, silence was often considered safer than honesty. Despite his talent and charm, Cassidy struggled deeply with personal demons. By the 1970s, alcohol addiction had begun affecting both his health and his professional life. Work opportunities became less frequent, and the polished confidence that once defined him started to fade. Then came the tragic ending. In 1976, Cassidy died in a fire at his West Hollywood apartment at just 49 years old. His sudden death shocked both Hollywood and Broadway. For many admirers, Jack Cassidy remains a gifted but troubled performer whose elegance and talent masked a life filled with pressure, secrecy, and inner conflict. Looking back at these Hollywood legends, one thing becomes clear. Fame did not protect people from fear, pressure, or loneliness. Many stars from Hollywood's golden age lived during a time when image mattered more than honesty, and even small rumors could destroy careers built over decades. Some chose silence to survive, while others spent their lives carefully protecting private truths from a judgmental world. Their stories remind us how much society has changed and how important compassion and understanding truly are. Beyond the glamour, these were human beings facing expectations few people could fully understand. Today, their lives encourage us to look beyond rumors and headlines and remember the personal struggles hidden behind fame. In the end, perhaps the greatest lesson is this: no one should have to hide who they are simply to be accepted. And sometimes the brightest stars carried the heaviest burdens in silence. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. See you in the next one.